Well, the summer season is officially underway across the whole fleet of Virgin Voyages ships, but that doesn't mean that everything is set in stone, and there's actually been some big changes over the past few weeks that every single sailor will need to know about, including one of the biggest changes that's happened to booking dining before you set sail in years. If we haven't met before, my name is David from VV Insider, and I help run a website that's all about Virgin Voyages and nothing else. So we keep everyone up to date with all the news, the updates that's happened across the fleet, as well as letting you know what the cabins are like, the bar menus, the restaurant menus, everything you'll need to know to plan your perfect Virgin voyage. So whether you're planning to head on board for the first time, or if you're a Virgin Voyages nerd like ourselves, make sure you hit subscribe so you get videos like this to help you plan your next trip. So today we've got some really interesting updates to share, including an update from Virgin Red, which means that you can now spend the points that you earn flying on Virgin Atlantic or through your Virgin credit card on Virgin Voyages. So we're going to take a look into that and see whether it's worth it. We've also got a little update for you if you're a Virgin Voyages fan from down under, with some news and some moves in the Australian market that you want to know about. There's some really interesting updates on pricing and on offers, and we're going to take a quick look into that and see how you can make the best savings on your next voyage. We've also been really hard at work dissecting a lot of the changes that are going into Valiant Lady 2.0, including the brand new happenings events and how you can learn even more about them before you step on board. Then the big news, a huge shakeup in the way that you book dining before you head on board your trip. We're going to take a look at what's changed and whether this can be good news or bad news depending on who you're sailing with. So as ever, there's tons to go through, so let's jump right in. So firstly, a little bit of news from Virgin Red around how you can spend your points on Virgin Voyages. So for a while now, you have been able to redeem your Virgin Red points, which are the name given to the points that you earn with Virgin Atlantic or through your Virgin credit card on Virgin Voyages trips. Now, the points to dollar ratio for these has always been pretty poor. You need a ton of points just to get one of the most basic sailings on Virgin Voyages, so it's never really been the most efficient way to redeem your points, but at least the option was there if you had nothing else to spend those points on. Well, now they're giving you a different way to spend those points on Virgin Voyages by enabling you to buy a bar tab using your Virgin Red points. If you're not familiar with what a bar tab is, it's simply the onboard credit that you can use for spending money on drinks when you're on board. Basic soft drinks and regular teas and coffees are included as part of your voyage, but anything other than that, including alcohol or premium options in the soft drinks category, you need to pay for. And on Virgin Voyages, you can save money by pre-purchasing a bar tab, which means that you spend, let's say, $300 on a bar tab, and they'll give you an extra $50 for simply putting that credit on your voyage before you sail. Well, now you can actually get one of those bar tabs, a $300 bar tab in this instance, through Virgin Red. If you have some Virgin Red points, you'll need 40,000 of them to claim your $300 bar tab. And it's important to note that this doesn't include the additional $50 that you would get if you were going to pay for your bar tab in cash. When we broke this news a couple of weeks ago on our socials, a couple of sailors let us know actually you can get a pretty decent flight on Virgin Atlantic for 40,000 points. So actually it might not be the best use of points, but at least it's an option there if you do have some points that you need to spend on Virgin Red. Well, are you an air miles expert? Do you think that this is a good deal or not? Let me know in the comments whether it's worth redeeming your points for this bar tab or not. Now, if you remember a few weeks ago, I put together a YouTube series here with 2 videos explaining what happened on our trip from Los Angeles to Vancouver on board Brilliant Lady. Well, we've put together a written article explaining our trip. So if you want to have a deeper look into what that voyage was like, sailing from LA to Vancouver on Brilliant Lady, then you can head over to our article now, which goes through everything that we went through on that trip, including some pictures from our trip as well. I certainly have some really fond memories of that trip and can't wait to go back on a similar itinerary in the future. It was also lovely to see that our trip inspired some of our own sailors to book trips doing the exact same itinerary as we did, or the inverse, which is going from Vancouver to LA, and that's a one that we've got our eyes on in the future as well. Now, I promised you a little news if you're interested in Virgin Voyages in Australia. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the big news, which is Virgin Voyages are heading back down to Australia, something we would absolutely love to see ourselves. But they have at least announced the appointment of a new head of sales for the region. Virgin Voyages have appointed David Clark to head up their Australian sales division. It's promised that Clark is going to be heading up sales and commercial for both Australia and New Zealand. If you've been following Virgin Voyages for a while, you'll know that Resilient Lady made her way to Australia in 2023, and it was planned originally that the brand would revisit every year from then on. Unfortunately, because of unrest in the Suez Canal, that was ended with just one season down under and hasn't been back since. Well, it was reported a few weeks ago that Virgin Voyages are going to make a continued investment in Australia, which led to a lot of rumours that they were heading back that way. But quick to deny rumours, Virgin Voyages have said there are no planned itineraries in Australia, although we did catch sight of a quote from Nathan Rosenberg recently saying that if there was a return to Australia, it would likely be on Brilliant Lady. And Brilliant Lady is unique in the fact that she can pass through the Panama Canal, which leads us to speculate that there could be a far future plan for Brilliant Lady to make some sort of trans-Pacific voyage. Personally, I would love to see this. I can't imagine how exciting it would be to visit Hawaii and go to Australia on board Brilliant Lady. That would be incredible. But for now, this is conjecture. It is wishes. It is hopes and dreams. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but we will keep a very close eye on it. So stay subscribed to our channel if you want to hear more about these operations as they get underway in Australia. Well, sticking with the currently announced itineraries anyway, as ever, we put together a list of all the latest offers on Virgin Voyages. We do this all the time. It's called the Sail and Save offers that Virgin Voyages put up every single week. Well, to make it dead easy for you, we list every single one of these sailings out over on our website every single Wednesday. So just a few days ago, we listed off the Sail and Save offers that will be valid between June 24th and June 30th. This includes sailings with prices as low as $89 per sailor per night. Yes, it might be an insider lock-it-in rate, but these prices are incredible. And if you want to get on board to enjoy the entertainment, the food, everything about the Virgin Voyages ships, sometimes an insider room isn't so bad. We're doing an insider room in Alaska very soon, so we know all about it. There are a huge number of itineraries listed here, and they include itineraries all the way up to 2028. So don't worry if you think that these are all just last-minute offers. They're not. Take a look at that list to see which ones take your fancy. There's some really good ones on there, including some Panama Canal crossings, which historically when they launched were really, really expensive. So seeing these on the Sail and Save list is really encouraging. But if the insider cabin lifestyle isn't for you and you would prefer to sail with a sea terrace or a Rockstar suite, then there's something for you as well. There is a loot offer available at the minute where you can get up to $400 of sailor loot when you choose a Rockstar suite on selected Mediterranean voyages in 2026 and pretty much every sailing in 2027 as well. So there's a huge variety of sailings to choose from, and you get this free sailor loot, which is onboard credit, and you can spend the onboard credit on anything. You can buy shore excursions, you can buy some Virgin Voyages branded things like I've got all around me here. It's up to you what you do with that extra money. To qualify for this sailor loot, you need to choose at least a sea terrace, or if you want the full $400, then you need to choose a Rockstar suite. And the amount of promotional credit you're going to get will depend on the sailing that you're going on, but as ever here at VV Insider, we've made it super easy by listing off all of these voyages for you to let you know exactly what sailor loot you're going to get. I will say a couple of our very own sailors that have booked very recently have got an incredible deal on Rockstar prices. For some reason, Rockstar pricing is looking really good at the minute. It is, of course, a lot higher than if you're booking a sea terrace or an insider. This is, of course, the Rockstar suite level where you get a really premium experience on board. And of course, you do pay for that. But generally, the prices are a lot higher normally than we've been seeing recently. There are some really good deals to be had. So if you've ever considered sailing Rockstar and you haven't done it before, or if you sail Rockstar all the time and simply want a good deal, then get in touch. If you head over to vvinsider.com/book, we can take a look to see what the best deal is going to be for you. And we can also take a look to see whether we can stack any additional discounts as well. Often you can get things like resident rate discounts if you live in a particular area. There may also be some additional sailor loot using the sail forward loot offer as well. There's all sorts of different ways that you can benefit. So head over to vvinsider.com/book. There's a contact form on there where you can get in touch with us directly, or if you simply want to choose a sailing from the list, if something takes your fancy, you can book on the website too, and we'll always be connected with your voyage. It is always the best way to support the work that we do here, which is not only the YouTube channel, this is maybe 5% of the work that we do every week, but mainly it's about keeping the website running, which has all the information about all the different restaurants, the cabins, everything that you need to know about Virgin Voyages. And we absolutely appreciate every bit of support that we get. So we can't wait to plan that perfect voyage together with you. You'll know a couple of weeks ago, we put out a bumper video explaining all of the changes that happened to Valiant Lady when she headed into dry dock earlier this year. Well, now she's out of dry dock and all the spaces have been refreshed, and we've got photographs of every single one of those new spaces. So whether you're heading on Valiant Lady or whether you just want to have a look at the ship and see what's different with her instead of the other ships in the fleet, then make sure you head over to this article which explains everything that you'll need to know. We've got some gorgeous pictures of Aria by Razzle Dazzle, which is the new Indian restaurant exclusively on Valiant Lady. We've also got some pictures showing you the brand new layout of the roundabout area and all the brand new seating that you'll see in that space. And we've also captured some of the changes that have happened to On the Rocks to make it easier for everyone in the bar to see the band that's playing or the guest performer that's playing in that venue as well. But this is a new bit, and this is the bit that I'm most excited about, honestly. And this is the happenings events section, where we spent a lot of time over the past couple of weeks putting together a page for every single one of the new happenings events that's occurring on board Valiant Lady. So there was 20 new happenings events in total, and they're really varied, all the way from fitness classes to big game shows to really interesting trivias. Well, we put together a page explaining everything you'll need to know. And the reason we do this is because often when you see these events on your Virgin Voyages app, the information in the description that you get on there doesn't really tell you very much. It doesn't really give you an idea of what you're heading into when you go along to each of these events, which is why we put the effort into writing down exactly what you're going to experience before you head on board. We want to tell you what you're walking into because some of these events are so incredible, and I just feel like the app doesn't really explain things as best as it possibly could. So we're quite happy to fill in that gap. This is one of my favorite resources on the website. If you go to vvinsider.com/events, we list out every single event that you're going to see on board the ships. Nearly everything. There's a few fitness things we haven't quite added in there, but we are working our way through them. But it is as comprehensive as you're going to get anywhere. So it gives you a really good idea of what you're going to see when you head on when it comes to entertainment. Now, this is one of the biggest changes we've seen to the Virgin Voyages experience in some time. And here at VV Insider, we got a glimpse of this a few weeks ago when they accidentally released a little glimpse of this into the wild. And this is a change to how you book your dining before you head on board the ship. Well, booking your dining and restaurant reservations on Virgin Voyages has long been a topic of conversation, and we do have a full guide explaining exactly what you need to do to make sure you get dining just right, and I'll link that at the end of this video. But ordinarily, what you would do on the Virgin Voyages app is take a look for the restaurant you were interested in on the day that you were interested in it, and then choose a time that lined up with the one that you wanted to dine in. Now, that part of it hasn't really changed. What is changing is there is now a new option for shared tables, which means that you can book a dining slot, but you're going to be put together with other people that are also trying to book that dining slot as well. The twist here is, of course, you're not going to know who these people are, and you're going to be sat at a table effectively with brand new people that you've never met before. This won't be an unfamiliar concept to people that have been on other cruise lines. So some of the larger cruise lines that have main dining rooms will generally pair smaller parties up on larger tables, so you won't know who you're dining with until you get on the ship. Well, it's slightly different on Virgin because, of course, you can choose a different restaurant every night, which means if you choose a shared table each time, you might be sitting with new people every single night. Well, this is what it looks like in practice. So as you can see, You can see the normal reservations, which are the ones in red. So if you choose one of these, you will be sat by yourself. Nobody will join you on your table. But you can see these purple ones have the word shared underneath them. If you choose one of these slots, like I say, you're going to be matched up with other sailors to make sure you can get that dining reservation. Well, the hope here is that this will allow many more people to be able to book the restaurant than before. So there's going to be a lot less unused spaces at tables because they're going to start combining these tables together. Hopefully this means that there will be a better chance for people to get the restaurant reservation that they really want. But when we shared this information on social media a few days ago, we got a mixed reception from a lot of sailors, with a lot of people being unhappy that they might be put with strangers. We were of course quick to say that this is an option and you are still able to book your standard reservations, your private tables if you want to. The shared option is simply an option that's been added to the roster with the hope that it gives people more options and more time slots to choose from. This is going to be rolled out on a trial basis, so it won't be available for everyone just yet, but this is going to start with Resilient Lady in October. Specifically, this is Resilient Lady's October 22nd voyage out of Miami. The idea here is that if this is a success, it will then roll out fleet-wide a few weeks later. Now, because this has had such a mixed reception over on our social channels, I'd be really interested to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this new option to have shared dining on Virgin Voyages. It's definitely a step into a direction that I think other cruise lines have. Do you see this as being a problem, or do you think the opportunity to have more time slots available is an opportunity worth going for? Just last week, I posted a video all about the Happenings cast. Now, of course, if you sailed with Virgin Voyages in the past, I'm probably telling you everything that you already know. But if you're sailing for the first time, or if you know someone that is, that video is hopefully really useful for first timers to let people know how the entertainment generally works when you're on board Virgin Voyages, because it is very different from other cruise lines. So if you're hunting for that video, I'm going to link that at the end. Speaking of this YouTube channel, we're putting together a very exclusive hidden series of videos, starting with my experience on board Valiant Lady when I played Off the Record, which is one of the brand new Happenings events, and it went a bit more dramatic than you would assume. So we put that video up for all of our YouTube members, and that's available right now. We are producing more of these videos explaining those secrets that we're trying to keep to a smaller number of people. But if you want in on those hidden videos and you want to join our little insider gang, then head over to our member section on YouTube and take a look at the options available. If you're a rock star or higher, you'll get access to that hidden series. But if you simply want to support the channel as a supporter, you'll get these main channel videos like you're watching right now a little bit earlier and ahead of time than other people who have to wait for the Saturday time slot. We already have a great number of supporters, and I can't thank them all enough for joining our little community here on YouTube. So thank you so much to all of you. And it's been really nice chatting to some of you in the comments in our community section as well. Well, as you can see, nothing stays still in the world of Virgin Voyages. And as you know, we'll be keeping our ear close to the ground for all the developments that are happening over the next few weeks before our next update. But if you want to make sure that that shows up for you and you catch the next Virgin Voyages Insider update, then make sure that you stay subscribed to this channel. And if you want all the news a little bit quicker, but in written form to your mailbox, head over to vvinsider.com and sign up for our free email newsletter and be the first to know. But that just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, happy sailing.